Let me tell you about this guy.
I'll tell you about this fucker right here.
Yeah. I like this obstacle course you have to go through to get out.
I know. They cannot. They don't even understand what's on the other side of this. Have a cap.
Oops.
This is what happens when you don't go to trade school. Well, good thing we don't need this anymore. I mean, this is one of the last ones we're doing together, so good thing we don't need this.
Well, at least it's not Dr. Pepper on carpet.
That's fair. You're making fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
why wouldn't I?
I want to be depressing for a second. I'm kind of sad.
Why?
Because doing this like face to face has been fun. I see a lot of like podcasts and stuff like that and videos that are done with people separate. And so it's like, that was kind of like one of the things I wanted to do to keep this going as you leave. They don't know that.
I had to do some housekeeping, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, it's going to be kind of like, it's just going to be different.
It is. I'm kind of curious as how that's going to go.
Yeah. So I'll just be like transparent with the three people that watch this podcast. So Mike and I have talked about this a little bit. Both of us have other like ideas or thoughts on like videos, podcasts, whatever the case may be, right? That doesn't necessarily mean the end of this one. But this is Mike and I, and we talk, where this is all jumbled up, but you guys are going to see this in the last episode too. We talk about this a little bit, or the last episode for the year. But we started this like not knowing if we were even going to make it a couple months into it, right? And now that we've made it to this point, and we're making it to this point where we've got all of these episodes done, it's like, okay, where do we go from here? And now that we're going remote, it's kind of the same thoughts all over again. Like, how far into this remote podcast are we actually going to make it? And what are we going to do? How are we going to interact? What's going to change?
Is it going to be less fun? Is it going to be more fun?
Right. Exactly. It opens up new opportunities for things that we've done in the past, but we've struggled with on, or at least my side, on like the editing end, and then ultimately uploading and how the video comes out. But then there's other things that we can't do, like what we're doing right now, right? Just interacting face to face, playing off of each other's like responses and emotions and body language and things like that. So,
because we don't even know what the setup's going to look like,
right?
Because we only have one of these, right?
Right. Exactly. So, the studio spaces, like, just kind of all of it. We've played with some stuff here and there, but we haven't actually done a full episode with it. We've had some computer issues and stuff like that we've had to get past. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm sad that this era is ending. I'm excited for the next chapter of not like just, the podcast, careers, life, whatever. And then I'm also excited because you and I have talked about other ideas of things that we don't get into yet that I actually really like. And so it's like, this may end, quote unquote, but not really, because we just switched tasks.
Yeah, we might go into
different. Yeah, because this ultimately for us, this has been a hobby. This has been fun, whatever. And so with that comes like, oh, we can still do the same hobby, but do it a little bit differently.
So are you feeling like we're going to give it a whirl, but it's likely going to transition sooner than later?
I think so. I kind of had that feeling for a while, thinking about just us going remote in general. Because I think together it's fun, but in general, we're bad at this. Like, we're bad at coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
We're bad with like the way we plan things out and all that stuff. I don't think we're bad at it in the sense of like that we suck. I just think we're bad at it.
We're limited,
yeah,
as far as the things that we can talk about and want to talk about. I mean, because, you get on YouTube and look at things and everything's either, political or it's some sort of screed or rant or something along those lines. And that's not something that we wanted to do.
Right.
Right.
And Mike and I have those conversations outside of the podcast, but also with other people all the time. That's all it is, right? Is constant bullshit, whatever it is from the media, political,
Trump this,
laws.
Biden that.
And I don't expect that to stop even with the election, even once the election is over. That's been the same way for the last 4 years. So I don't expect that to stop.
Well, the world didn't end with the eclipse. I was really thinking that was going to be the end of our podcast.
Is the eclipse?
Yeah. But, maybe the rapture happened and God picked nobody.
Well, that's unfortunate. He picked like an alien civilization instead.
Yeah, he came back with the eclipse and saw nothing redeemable.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
And then he gave us the deuces. Jeez.
Never thought about it like that, but yeah. I guess, the Bible doesn't really get into that, but I guess that is a choice, huh? That's an option that nobody really talks about. It's like,
right.
Well, I don't want any of you. I've got enough over here. We're getting kind of full on storage here.
Yeah. I mean, we're what? Saved by grace and faith and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing we can do. There's no works that we can do to earn our place in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
What if he comes back and said, it was all about the work. You gotta do the work. You didn't do the work.
Yeah, that like long game of mini history telephone did not translate over well. Yeah. But yeah, so, I think that it's something that could potentially end sooner rather than later, but I don't think that would be the end of us doing this hobby. Just maybe the end of this specific channel, which is really weird because we didn't talk about it ending really on our final episode where this is all jumbled up and a mess and all that stuff, but that's okay.
Yeah. But I just think by tone, you can start to feel it kind of fading.
Yeah. Which is funny because I feel like we're much better at it. We're much better at getting in front of the camera, talking.
Yeah, because remember when we first started, we had to talk like 20 minutes before you ever
you guys never saw it, but Mike's right. We would literally spend 20 to 30 minutes just pre-talking before we actually cut into the video because we didn't know how to start the conversation.
Yeah, and you had like work the nerves a little bit and that kind of stuff. So we don't start out like, so Brandon.
Right. Even though we start every episode like that.
But that's the funny part. Now it's like, so Brandon.
Yeah.
As opposed to, so Brandon, did you hear about the car race yesterday?
Right, exactly. So yeah, and I think our tone has kind of shifted into that way that we're like leading into this, there's a potential of doing something different or like this series or this channel ending or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think it's been fun. I mean, I've learned a ton off of just doing what I have been. I've also, I think, got a better idea of if I was to do it differently or if we were to change it up or whatever, what it actually is going to take to put everything together and get where we would want to get.
So the start of the next one will be better than the end of the first one.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Because there's a lot of, people don't talk about this on YouTube. And I think that on YouTube, a lot of the YouTubers have they don't post. The ones that are doing all the work themselves don't post every day or even every week. Most of the time. A lot of times they're posting maybe once a month or whatever, especially if they have full-time jobs and careers and right. So I think it takes a full-time position just doing that piece of it or a full-time focus and a full-time love for that hobby to get it done and to get done to some of the things that we wanted to do but just kind of have stopped doing because it made it not fun, which I think could be different in things that may come up later because then there's actually dedicated people. Somehow it still just ends up being me in all those scenarios, but there's actually like a dedicated thing rather than like, oh, I got to come up with X, Y, and Z, film it, and also do it. So
More work.
yeah, more work, but it's fun work. I mean, I enjoy it just in general. I've also got some of my own ideas that I want to, I'm finally going to be in a place where I'm home to be able to start doing.
Yeah, and it's like you're moving back. Well, you're not even moving back home. You're moving to Arizona. You're going home, packing up, and moving to Arizona.
Right.
And I'm moving to Wenatchee.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll be May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in my new digs.
Yeah, and I'm right at the beginning of May. I'll be where we're going to be too. So there's also a lot of that happening in the background and a lot of changes that kind of throw this whole thing like,
Yeah, because it's like
not settled.
You're probably watching this as past May 1st.
Right, exactly.
But that's also one of the reasons why we're pre-recording these is because he's going to be packing and moving. I'm going to be packing and moving. And, we love our loyal fans. We don't want them to miss an episode. So, we're getting these things pre-recorded. And it's also one of the reasons we kind of moved away from the current event stuff because it's not current by the time you get it.
Yeah, that's the other thing too that made it hard. And that's what Mike was referring to earlier when it's like we're limited on what we can talk about because for the generational stuff, there's a lot of shit, but it's hard to avoid the topics that we don't really want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the current events, because we're in this like travel, we're here for projects, blah, 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 whatever, we have to pre-record. By the time you guys talk about these current events, it's been 2 months and now we're addressing something that happened 2 months ago and it's not really current, which is not really fun for anybody. You're watching something that there's already been resolution on.
Yeah,
you're like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
Unless we're going to like some deep analytical take, and that's just not us.
Yeah, no, not at all. We're not very funny, but we're also not very deep. So we're just...
Oh, we can be funny. It's just we would get canceled and maybe put in prison.
Maybe some of us would lose our jobs, aka myself.
Yeah. Oh, I think I would too.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So we don't know what the future holds yet for like this channel, but I don't think it will be the last that you see of us. It just may be in a different form.
Is this, when you move, is this going to be, not necessarily this channel, but is podcasting going to be your hobby of focus?
I'm gonna, just being honest, I think no. I think will be one of my hobbies of focus, but there has been, and I guess I can talk about it here. It hasn't come out yet, but I haven't seen anybody do this. So I'm trying to like, even though there's only a couple people that watch, I'm trying not to like spill it all because, but there's basically an idea for a YouTube channel that I've had for a very long time, probably about.
Well, and that's, so I guess to me that falls in line.
Oh, okay.
Videoing.
Yeah.
It's going to be your
yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that'll still continue to be my hobby. I still enjoy it. This will be one of my hobbies of focus. Another big one that I've really been getting into, and I think I briefly touched on this, is coffee. Just all things nerding out on coffee, like espresso machines, doing the whole, like all the different types of coffee that there are, whether it's pour overs or cold brew or French press or, whatever. Like there's so much in that realm and like so much learning that you can do just within the coffee community, if you will, or whatever. A lot of them are like pretentious assholes, but just in that community,
you'll fit right in.
Yeah, exactly. And I've really been enjoying that. What little that I have dived into it at home.
But you're not going to roast your own coffee.
I might get there at some point. Okay. Yeah, it's like a progression thing, like that I'm like slowly getting into. I'm not like doing everything all on my own at once, but like slowly trying different things and doing like coffee tastings and all of that stuff. And there's this whole like nerdy like development of like your taste for coffee and like how you taste coffee, and it's like I don't know, it's this whole fucking thing.
It's funny, it's like it's nerdy for coffee, but it's eclectic for wine.
Yeah, right. Right, exactly. But yeah, so I've really been getting into that and enjoying it, and I've always really, I mean, most people do, most people like coffee, but I've always really like loved coffee and like loved the different like flavors and styles and things like that, and so that's been something I've been getting into
Are
recently.
you going to include like cooking with coffee?
Probably not. Not a
There's
cooking person.
I made a steak. It's a cafe mocha steak.
Mhm.
So there's actually coffee and chocolate
Okay.
as the part of the rub.
Mhm.
It's two of the main ingredients in the rub. It actually turned out really well.
Yeah, probably not, because cooking in general is not typically my thing.
Yeah, as we learned on episode 5.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That hasn't changed. If Mike and I were in the place that we are and I did not have my wife, that would not have changed. That would be completely the same as of right now.
Yeah, because I was like gone this weekend and you almost made breakfast.
Yeah. Yep. Almost. Yeah. So I looked at it and it was like, nope. Yeah. So not my thing. But yeah, so I mean, I don't think podcasting will be, I wouldn't say it's not my main hobby or like my main focus, but it won't be my only one.
But at least you could combine it, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It could be two things. There may be entire episodes of either this or later where it's like Mike's tired of hearing me talking about whatever other hobby that I'm doing at the time.
Yeah. Whatever ridiculousness that it happens to be.
Yep. Now that I'm finally going to be at home, it leaves so much open to actually doing different things. So I'm excited about that.
I'm going to take up boxing. I think I said that on a previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to try to see if I can't run a wrestling promotion in Wenatchee.
Okay. That'll be exciting.
Possibly. Or a miserable failure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you like the sport enough that it's, even if it fails, you still got something out of it.
Oh, yeah. I failed a lot of things.
Yeah. So.
But my regrets, it's interesting because it's a cliche, but it's true. My regrets has really not been on the things I've tried or the money I've spent. My regrets are more along the lines of opportunities I didn't take.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I think most people get to that point in their life, and you guys, that we've talked about this in the previous episodes, where it's like regrets are always become things that I didn't do, not what I did do.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a hobby that I regret spending money on, and at least even if I like tried it because it was a trend or whatever, and like I got into it and spent all the money and was like, it did it once and then just never did it again. I don't have any regrets about doing those things. Because they were fun and I wanted to do it, and I said, fuck it, and why not?
That's how I got into grilling. It was like, I ended up getting a Green Mountain grill, pellet stove.
Right.
Because I wanted to get into the smoking of meats and that kind of stuff.
That's another hobby that I plan to get into too, because I've done just a little bit of grilling while I've been at home over the past couple of months, and I've really enjoyed it. And I noticed that I really enjoy the act of like, I can put this thing out here. There's sun on my face, sunglasses on. I can have a beer. I can be outside. There's something smoking, whenever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's one of the kickers is like, you get yourself a full-size brisket, right? And you make your own rub and that kind of stuff. And you finally get it onto the stove, pellet grill.
Mm-hmm.
And that can take, I made one, it took 20 hours for this thing, right? And so I can say I spent 20 hours on this thing.
Right. And the reality is you stuck it in there.
I stuck it in there, had a cigar, drank some beer, hung out in the sun, played some volleyball, blah, blah, blah.
It sounds impressive. And you're
restocked the pellets so it doesn't run out. The only downside was like having to set the alarm at 2:00 in the morning to wake up so I can add more pellets.
Right.
I know it's gonna run out.
Right. Yeah, go and check on it. Make sure your house isn't on fire at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, it's outside, so only thing on fire would be like
your lawn's on fire.
Yeah. But it's such a low temperature thing. But yeah, but there's so many. It's like I get to do research. I like doing research, so I get to look at 20 different rub recipes, and out of all 20, there might be 4 ingredients that are different. Right. And then a lot of it might be quantities and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So you get to like look at it and say, okay, so now we know these are the standards.
Yeah.
And then I can experiment with my own from there.
Yeah. My wife likes to do the same thing. She likes to look at a recipe. Usually what happens is actually what's been good is while I'm traveling, she'll find something, whatever it is, TikTok or online or whatever. She sees it. She's like, oh, I want to try that. So she tries it. And then she's like, this is bullshit. I don't know how they got to this point or whatever. So she starts playing with it. And then by the time I get home, there's this perfected like recipe or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is like awesome. And the reality is if you look in the trash can, there's like 60 boxes of all the trial attempts and all that stuff. But yeah, she really likes it to do that stuff too.
TikTok, huh? I thought that was just girls lip syncing.
Nope. There is a whole thing past that portion of TikTok that is like hobbies, cooking, coffee, video editing. There's all kinds of stuff. It's about as expansive as YouTube at this point with the amount of stuff that you can find. You just gotta find it and get it into your algorithm and like it, because if not, initially when you open up TikTok and you never like anything, or if you like hold on to the video, you can tell them that you like don't like something, you'll just get that. That's like the initial TikTok.
It's kind of like I was recently informed that there's more than porn on OnlyFans.
I have heard that. I can personally say I've never gone and looked, so I don't know. But yeah, I've heard that too.
It made me think we should put our show on OnlyFans.
It might get more views.
And then we can say, oh yeah, check out my OnlyFans. And your friends are going to check out. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Right. Might get more views than YouTube. There's less competition on OnlyFans. Well, there's a different type of competition on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be naked cooking, so. Although you probably could find that on OnlyFans, huh?
Probably. Pretty sure you can find that anywhere.
The nude chef. Didn't sound very hygienically sound.
I don't think that's what they're going for in that scenario. If you're cooking nude, I think the last thing you care about is like hygienics of your food.
Yeah. Although it would almost be worth it if you send somebody money to have them cook a whole pack of bacon naked.
Just because of the pain that comes from the sizzling and the popping. Yeah. Pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous. Well,
what's the first thing you're going to do once you get settled into Arizona?
First thing I'm going to do.
Yeah, what's the first task, first goal, first thing you want to get accomplished?
Well, I was talking about the coffee thing. So, we had been talking about for a while, I'm going to buy a nice espresso machine. That's like one of the first things that I'm going to get when I'm there.
Have you done the research yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all done. I know, what I want, what it costs. I have a whole like planned out Amazon list of this like coffee journey that I'm going to go down. So I'm all ready to go. It was just, why would I buy it now when I'm A, not there, and B, we're about to have to move it all. So what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Why pay to move it all when we could just get it delivered there? So yeah. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of research, watching a lot of videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's one of the first things that we're going to be doing. Or I'm going to be doing.
Do you think it's going to take long enough to get settled that we will miss some weeks before we kick off again?
No, I don't think so. I think there's enough that we have recorded in the time that I was here that we probably won't miss anything.
Okay.
I can't see us actually missing something. It just, been laying it all out there. I think we have enough pre-recorded until basically the end of May to get us until June.
Okay.
And I can't see myself taking the entire month. I'm not like I need this like 2 months to get settled. Like,
right.
I'll be settled within a couple of weeks, so I can't imagine that would be the case. And I think that we may try to do something before I'm even out there, just depending on what's going on. We'll just have to see over the next few weeks. But
yeah, we probably need to do more testing on our.
Yeah, if anything, we will have testing done. That way, when we go to do it, it will just be, hey, let's log on and start recording.
Or we never figure it out and it ends because
it ends and we never made it.
we have technical retardation.
If episode 53, because that's where we're at right now, is the last episode that you see, it's gonna be a doozy. You guys,
you're gonna love it. Actually, I think it'd be a great finale. To be honest.
If episode 53 is the last episode that you guys ever see, then you know why.
Yeah. Yep.
Then you know why. Look for us on our other future channel.
Okay.
Do you? So I guess with you saying that, do you feel like that's going to be the last one, or do you think there will be a few that come out on?
I'm fairly confident that we are going to make some attempts to record more, and how those go is going to make the determination.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. And just if we're excited to be doing it or not.
Yeah, I mean, if we go out there, we're just like, if we're at that stage where it's becomes something that you're more obligated to doing than wanting to do, then you got to end it, right?
Yep.
So,
makes sense to me. Well, I don't feel obligated to do any more of this episode.
Me neither. I say, well, light up the grill.
Yeah, right. Had beer. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you for watching. This is the last few episodes that you'll actually see us together. So thank you for coming on this journey with us so far.
Yeah. Peace be the journey.